I have always wanted to be a professional athlete, and my sport of choice is soccer. And I've been trying for a couple of years, like legitimately, okay, like I'm gonna try to do the whole soccer professional thing. So I've done a lot, been a lot, traveled, been on trials. And this opportunity in Utah came up where they're having a professional indoor team, which is a little bit different, but it's been so awesome. It's the league is new, but it's super cool. The amount of the girls that we have on the team are super talented. There's a couple girls that have played professionally, so they're amazing. There's girls that I played with like back in the day that are now I'm playing with them here. So it's a really cool group and just an awesome opportunity for me to be able to like kind of check off the box of being a professional athlete in some ways, even though it's maybe not what I thought it was going to be necessarily. But still, like the opportunities that are involved in this whole process are really cool and I'm like really excited about. And it's been just so fun to be around girls who want to compete and to train and all those things. We get to practice together and we get to play games, and I love it. I love the whole piece.
So sweet. Back in action.
Yes, back in action.
And I think what's so cool about it that, you know, the context that people need is that you're 31.
Mm-hmm.
And at 31, you became a professional soccer player.
Yeah. Yep.
After having 3 kids.
Yep.
And a lot going on in life.
A lot. Yep.
So what's it like being, because you were telling me earlier, you are the oldest on the team.
Yes. Well, you know what? I'm probably the second. I'm probably the third oldest on the team. Yeah. Yeah. We have our goalkeepers a little bit older than I am. And then there's a girl that's pretty close in age to me. So which is cool. There's other women that are older that are doing the thing as well.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I was the oldest in the summer team I was playing with.
Okay.
By a long shot. But this pro team, I'm one of the oldest, which is, yeah, a cool opportunity. I think there's so much to learn from the younger generation. And it's awesome because they want to compete. They want to get better. They're doing a cool opportunity and playing pro too. And so I just love being a part of it all. And I don't know if you feel the same way. And I was just talking to Sarah, our friend from high school.
Yeah.
She just had a birthday. And I'm like, I just feel like in between my ears, I do not feel like age is a thing. I still feel the same competitiveness that I did when I was like in college playing. Still feel it now. Which is a cool way to be able to express it on the field because it doesn't matter. If you can play, you can play.
Oh, yeah.
So
if you can ball, you can ball.
Yeah, if you can ball, you can ball. So
it's awesome. But I think why it's so cool is that you have 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think a lot of people would think after they've hit a certain point in their life or gone into being a parent or whatever, that you can't go chase something that you're really interested in or passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your mentality about that? And, you know, how did you get to where you are?
Yeah, I think early in life when I was a senior in high school, as you know, I lost my youngest sister. And I think with loss, you kind of get like slapped in the face with the reality of you're not quite in control like you maybe thought. And your days are numbered. You just don't know when that is. And so as I went through college and kind of with that, I like was a senior and then 5 months later, like she passed and then I went to college and I was like by myself out there. And I think through college and when I graduated, I kind of made this promise to myself, if I'm going to spend time doing something, I'm going to graduate college, I'm going to go get a job, 40 hours of my week, I might as well do what I love to do or something I'm good at, you know, something I like to do. And so with that kind of promise and the deeper understanding of like, I don't know like how long my life is going to be truly. So I might as well just like do what I love to do. I have the time to do it. And I think that's been kind of like the underlining motivator for me. Like I was saying before, kind of squeezing out everything I have with the able body that I have right now. And that's what's been kind of keeping me chugging along and motivating is that deeper understanding of, you know, we don't know. It just anything can really happen. So then kind of utilizing and doing what I love to do. Why I can't. Like why the freak not? Why not? I just get absolutely terrified of the fact, like, sitting on my deathbed or sitting when I'm older and thinking of all the things, like, all the excuses I made to not do something that I wanted to do. Like, how torturous is that? I in no way want to be that like that. That just like scares me. I think the most is sitting back on my life thinking, I gave myself so many excuses and now I can't do it. I can't go back. I can't rewind. That just like terrifies me. So I feel like I've used that motivation to do what I want to do and keep me motivated. I feel like so.
Huge.
Yeah.
That's an awesome life philosophy.
Thanks.
And I think that's really true about you. You know, everything that you do, that I've seen you do whenever we played ball together, you attack it full force. You know, if we're in a game, you're going to go score 10 goals and you're going to, get back on defense. And, you got the hustle and the ambition. And I love that perspective.
Thanks.
So, I want to talk a little bit about the traumatic loss that you had in your family when you lost your little sister.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's something that we talk about a lot on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so motivating to me how you came out of this really hard time with a perspective about making the most out of life. But it's easy to get stuck and feel like you can't get out of, grief and sadness and depression and all that. So, especially when you were so young in high school, maybe you can tell us a little bit, and talk about some of the audience here. What was that experience like for you and your family, and how did you find a way out of it or through it?
Yeah, grief is such an interesting monster. And something that I've learned a lot is, or not learned a lot, but gain the perspective of people don't grieve ever like the same way. My sister Mia, who's like right underneath me, we're close in age. We lost the same person, but the way that she grieved and moved on with her life is so different than me. So and I think I recognized that and was like, I have a choice. And watching my parents as well. My parents dealt with it in very different ways.
Mm.
And I learned kind of through watching them, because obviously I'm looking for them as an example of like, okay, well, how are you guys moving through life now? And there were some things I was like, I do not want to grieve like you did. And I like these things and learning that. So the way that I took it, I think in some ways when I went to college, because like I said, she passed in February, by end of July or August, I'm in Hawaii, thousands of miles away by myself playing college soccer. And I think soccer became a distraction for me, which, I mean, in the big scale of things, okay, maybe it wasn't so healthy for me to just be like, I'm just going to like distract myself. But as I've looked back, I think it became therapy. Like it became, because and this is why I love sports so much, I immediately had a community. I immediately had friendships. I immediately had a kind of a bigger purpose and meaning to like put everything into. So I do think I used it as a distraction for a while, but it really helped me like channel my emotions somewhere. I could release somewhere. When people play against me, I can be a very different person on the field than I am outside. I like truly, I'm like, I think people think I could be really mean. I can be really rude. And I do some things. I'm like, did I really just say that? But I think it's because I've used it. Like I just am like putting all my emotion, all my everything into it. So it's been a bit of a therapy for me. So soccer and sport, I think, has helped a lot for me to be able to channel it that way, which is, like I said, very different than like my sister and my brother have found. Like drugs and alcohol has been their coping mechanism, and that's destroyed their lives. And it's torturous to watch that. So for me, I think I was lucky enough to be old enough, and my parents are amazing people with that set. I already had a great foundation of a broader perspective of life, like just the knowledge that I believe that I get to see her. Like I believe in an afterlife, right? I'm going to see her again. I think that knowledge is amazing. Because if you think you lose someone for forever, I can't even imagine. Can't even imagine the hole that would be inside of you. So I think that knowledge, first of all, helped gain this like the basis of a broader perspective of like, okay, it's not forever. It's temporary, even though it sucks so bad. It's temporary in the grand scheme of things. And then, like I said, I think I channeled a lot of the grief and the processing through amazing friends that I learned. I lived and learned and met through soccer in Hawaii, and then just using soccer as almost like an outlet and a distraction. And I think that's why I still play for so long because
Mm.
I'm like, this is home to me. This is what's comfortable. This is what has gotten me through a lot of things in life, and it's continued to show up for me and give me a positive. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like sport has helped me a lot, and that's why I'm so passionate. I think about it a lot. But anyway,
I love it.
yeah,
Yeah, I love it. Sports are amazing
they are.
for that
Yes.
reason. It's so cool. I love how you said that everyone processes in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very natural for you to kind of put it all out on the field and, let your emotions move through you and work through you and in that competitive environment that's so natural to you. And
Mm-hmm.
for other people, that's going to look like expressing yourself through art or
Right.
expressing yourself through dance or, whatever it may
Mm-hmm.
be. But I think it's what you said is such a testament to how everyone is different. And that's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful thing. You also mentioned how sometimes when there's trauma or grief, if you don't have something to kind of latch onto or a healthy way to process it or internalize it, it can turn to, negative things like alcoholism or substance abuse or, all kinds of different things. And I want to mention that because I feel like in my own life, I've come to realize that it's always tied to some kind of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been really interested in the idea that this book that I read called No Bad Parts.
Hmm.
It's the idea that we all have, so many different parts within us in kind of an emotional way,
Mm-hmm.
that try to keep us safe in some kind of way.
Hmm.
When you have a big emotional trauma, like losing somebody that you love, all of these, parts fly up in you to protect you.
Hmm.
And you can almost name them,
Mm-hmm.
and when I lost my father-in-law, Paul, and my friend Parker, like my addiction became, it's embarrassing, but like video games.
Hmm.
And that was my distraction. Like,
Right.
I'd play a game at night and just zone out for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the game was over, like I was like, oh, it all kind of came back to me until I could find a way to process and work through it. So anyway, that's just my way of saying, if, anyone who's listening, like going through stuff, just know you're okay. Like you are not that part or that addiction that's got you.
Mm-hmm.
Just a response to pain.
Right.
And that's what we want to open up the space for and try to heal in healthy ways. So I appreciate you sharing your story and especially talking about how soccer has helped you to work through things and move through it.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Great. Great little therapy for me as my life has gone on.
Super cool. Super cool. The other thing that I, talk with people about is that when we have a trauma happen in our lives, like losing someone that we love,
Mm-hmm.
it can feel like it throws you off your life path.
Hmm.
And, we were talking earlier and I was joking, but also serious that I feel like if you could just stick with things all the way, maybe you would have been like an Olympic gold medalist or something like that on the women's team.
Yeah.
Because you got, you're so
Cool.
skilled and good at it. But when we do have those traumas, they can throw us off.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really inspired how you found your way back onto a path and stuck with it. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more of your story that way.
Yeah, you know what is funny about that is I distinctly, and this just comes a testament. I'm also a believer. I'm a big believer in like coincidence is like not a thing. I as a little backstory, I made a new soccer team that was like a way higher level team than I had ever made my junior year, I believe. And my coach was this amazing woman named Natalie Lewis. And when my sister passed, I was like in the middle of, well, we were about to start our spring season. That was my last club season before I went to college. And I kid you not, I lost my ability to play soccer. Like genuine, it was so weird. I was like, I can't play. I can't figure it out. I like just little thing. I couldn't even like touch the ball.
Mm.
It was crazy. And I think I realized in a good way, oh my gosh, this is way bigger than myself. It's not just I'm sad. It's like like you said, the response in like my body. I didn't even have control. It was wild. So I truly lost it all.
Mm.
I felt like I lost. I remember in a particular game we were playing in this thing called State Cup. We were getting like smashed, and we should have had a great team. Like every single player on the team was like a Division 1 player, besides like maybe a couple of us. And oh my gosh, and Natty, my coach, pulled. I was out, and she like talked to me on the side and was like, "Hey, I lost my dad when I believe like when she played at BYU. I don't know
Mm.
what year she was in, but I lost my dad." And I remember kind of going through the same thing and just like always looking up in the stands and realizing he's not going to be there and like how heavy that was for me and having to move through it. And she's like, you just need to be okay, like with not being okay right now. I like, and she could have been, Kenzie, what's going on? Your performance, you're sucking. Rightfully so. That's her job, is to make us better and coach. And her job is a soccer coach, be a soccer coach and get your team to do well. I don't remember her ever correcting me, because it was probably just so obvious that I
Mm.
was like, everything was just crisscrossed, whatever. So having that experience, and I think having luckily the grace of her to be like, it's okay to not be okay. We're going to be fine. Life is a little bit bigger than just this game and whatnot. And luckily with that kind of grace, I took it, and then I was committed to go play in college. And that was like a dream of mine as well. So I like worked my freaking butt off during the summer, was motivated, was lifting, was running. And then once I got to college, I don't really ever remember feeling that way again. I don't remember being like, oh my gosh, I can't play. Like, I don't know what to do. I felt like I prepared myself um, in a way that made me perform like I knew I could and be able to channel it. So, yeah, I mean, just that testament of like what I was really good at, I just got all taken away because of the trauma response. And then I had a little bit of grace that was given to me by a coach to help me in the perspective maybe that I wouldn't give myself the grace before. I would have been like, what's going on? And probably just would have carried forever. But I decided, you know what? Okay, I can get myself out of this. It's okay. I can work through it. And then it kind of just carried myself. And then I feel like I just peaked so late in the game, but I loved it. Kept playing. Like I've said a million times, it's been like a coping mechanism, some therapy for me. So yeah, it's crazy how you can like lose it all that you love in something that's become muscle memory, and
That's such
then you get it back. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a visceral, real story that you share about how trauma can impact you.
Mhm.
Because you were playing at a very high level already, even when you were that age in school.
Mhm.
Um, have you ever read a book, The Body Keeps the Score?
I've heard one of my best friends has told me multiple times, Kenzie, you got to read it, but
It's
I haven't.
awesome.
Haven't read it.
I think I got it right here. You can maybe borrow it if you want, but this was something that changed my perspective. It's Bessel van der Kolk, and he's a therapist and doctor guy, but he talks about the ways that your body, in a literal way, holds on to traumas and stresses. And it impacts your nervous system, and it impacts your endocrine system, and it impacts, everything about your body. And it can be held in really interesting, specific ways.
Mm.
So when you're talking about feeling like you lost your skill, not even be able to like get your touch on the ball after being at such a high level, it's like, yeah, like your body is literally holding on to it and being like, you can't do it.
Mhm.
And he's also has a great perspective because trauma, he talks about, is a wound to your nervous system.
Mm.
You're an athlete, and like if you break your leg or you blow your ACL or something like that, no one's going to expect you to go out on the field and be able to play.
Right.
if your leg is, a 90-degree angle or something, right?
Right.
But it's weird because when you damage your nervous system, people don't always see it. Much like,
Mm-hmm.
Kenzie's in a funk or
Right.
whatever. But you have
Yeah.
a literal wound.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about how when you break your leg, people take you to the hospital, or you blow your knee and like you get surgery within a couple days or something.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's this big traumatic thing like losing someone you love in your family, people don't always know how to heal that. So often they go through life with a metaphorical, broken leg,
Mm-hmm.
and just nobody can see that you're not doing okay. And so
Right.
I'm grateful you share that story, because I think a lot of people they don't know what's happening to them. It feels bad. And
Yeah, you feel crazy. And you like obviously you've gone through something really hard, but I do think people just don't realize, like you were saying, how it shows up.
mhm,
Like, do I think in any way before a traumatic experience happened to me that it would affect my skill in a game? No.
you wouldn't think it's
No
related.
way.
Yeah.
No way would I think that's how it shows up. So I think that, yeah, recognizing you just don't know. It's gonna like creep in there somewhere, somehow. And yeah, and like I said, I was given kind of the grace by somebody else outside of it, which was nice to have someone from outside be like, hey, okay, just let it be, work through it. I mean, it's like so needed. But yeah, like you said, I don't think people can see it really. They don't have people to see it, or people around them are going through the same thing. So it's like, how are you supposed to help someone when you're going through the same thing? You know what I mean? I don't know. So
Totally.
I do love that analogy though of the wounded nervous system, because truly it feels like that. It's like a wound that you feel, but yeah, you can't see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, shows up differently for people in different ways, in weird ways.
totally. Yeah. Then
Yeah.
you can look at the world and see like, oh, people are carrying all kinds of traumas and stresses.
Oh yeah.
And no wonder things are showing up in weird ways,
Yeah.
addiction or whatever. One other thing I want to talk about is, going back to the story you just shared about your wound and your coach.
Mhm.
When you started sharing it, you talked about how, you believe everything is not a coincidence, is what you said.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't really believe in.
And I believe that too. And I think you were talking about your coach being able to have the empathy and to be there for you in the right time to help you out.
Mhm.
So tell me a little bit more about your perspective on all of that. How's it all tied together? And what do you see in your own life that makes you think it's not coincidences?
Man, I just think I'm a God believer. I
Yeah.
believe in God, whatever that
We
means
talk
for
about God
you.
here for sure.
Right. Like whatever God is for you. And I just have experienced, just like even that example, like what are the chances that I get one spot on this team that I end up making my like, which is weird. 1 year I'm playing with them. I take the one spot that they need. She happens to be my coach. She happens to have had lose someone in her family. She lost her dad. And so she can empathize and understand the bigger picture there. Like what are the chances of that? Crazy. Like so small. So I think and I think you can look at it daily where you're just like, "Ah, what are the chances that that happens?" Sometimes it's a negative way. Sometimes it's like, oh, of course, how did that happen? But just in the broader scheme, I've experienced so many like people that have come into my life, or the opportunities that I've gotten, and all of the lining, like the things that just have to line up for those to happen is wild. And I was actually just thinking about this when I was on the drive, taking like a sidebar. Not well, my brother, who is homeless in Salt Lake, he's a drug addict, and he's the best. He's the best person ever. I'm getting emotional because I love him, and it's so sad to see
I
him.
love him too.
He's seriously the best human being. But in my mind, and I've talked about this with my parents, is I don't know how he's still alive. I truly, and I don't mean that like frivolously. I have no idea how he's still alive. And so something like that, in the coincidence thing, the things that have had to go right for him is wild. I don't know how you don't know. I know like probably this much of his story. It's like the iceberg thing, right? You see the top of the iceberg and it's pretty bad, but then like the whole freaking thing underneath, I can't even imagine what that kid has gone through and what he's done and just the things he has his body go through is wild. And that's in a very extreme example, but for me that's just another testament of, man, it's not just like random things, just like, oh, well that's lucky. Like, you could call it luck, but just the things that kind of just have to match up. And I've seen it over and over again. Just the people have been into my life to help me grow and become and have the perspective that I have. And watching my siblings go through really hard things. Some of it's their choices, sure you could say that, but just still like I don't know, I just don't know how it all matches up by just randomness. And I think there's a bigger hand at play, which, in my belief is just God keeping them for some reason. And maybe they don't last very long. That's what's the torturous part about addiction is you just sit and wait. But too many things in my life have been just like a coincidence. So and I like that. And I say that all the time, like, oh, what a coincidence. But that underlying, like, someone's looking out. Someone's playing their fingers and there's a bigger work at play. And sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I just believe that for myself to make me feel better. And I'm like, I don't care. Sure. Sure. I believe that to make myself feel better. Cool.
Well,
I'll take it. I'll make myself feel better that way. But I don't
yeah,
know.
I think it's 100% real what you just talked about, and I don't know how all the tapestry ties together, and I don't claim
Right.
to have all the knowledge or anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
But even when you just look at life objectively and try to be fact based,
Mm-hmm.
these things are improbable.
Right. Yeah.
And if something is truly improbable and they always happen, it has to be orchestrated in some kind of way.
Right.
But then you wonder, well, then why did such bad things happen?
Mm-hmm.
If there's a plan and things are orchestrated. And I don't know. I don't claim to have like a big answer, but I just truly believe that we are all so deeply connected. And I think our connections last on in life and like on both sides of life before we're born and after we die. And I believe God has our back and has our hand and that there are angels and spirits and like things working to help us in every kind of way. I think so much more than we can see with our physical eyes or understand, you know. And I love that you bring in that super empathetic perspective about your brother, who obviously you love,
Mm-hmm.
one of your top people that you love in your whole life, and to see someone devolve into where he is because of trauma and grief
Mm-hmm.
and still have the empathetic perspective and still believe that, even though you can't really maybe even get through to him the way that you'd hope that you can,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's still being looked after in some kind of way
Right.
is a beautiful empathetic perspective. And it makes me feel like, there's another book that I like, Gabor Mate, talks about the myth
Mm.
of normal. And that's what he says the myth is, right? Is that we live in this world and we just assume that people who are living in a homeless state, that's just normal. Like, that's just part of the world that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not normal.
Right.
It's a symptom of underlying sickness and bad things that we need to heal and work through and figure out to make everything right going forward. And if there's somebody that you see homeless on the street, you'd be like, oh, that's just someone who like quote unquote made bad decisions or crap.
Right.
Like,
They
no,
did this to
yeah,
themselves type of thing.
but it's your
Uh-huh.
brother.
Yeah.
That's someone's brother. That's
Mm-hmm.
someone's son. That's someone's father or daughter or whatever. And people love them.
Mm-hmm.
And like, maybe we ask, what happened? What happened to you? Where did it
Yeah.
all start?
What's your story?
Yeah, what's
Mm-hmm.
your story? It's not just anyway.
Yeah,
I'm
you're a
rambling,
product of
but
bad decisions.
yeah.
And it's interesting. This actually just happened like a couple weeks ago. I was driving with my parents. We came back from Arizona, and we were in Salt Lake, and there's like a guy, like a homeless guy, holding like a sign. for money. And my dad gives him money, which in my head, I was shocked because with my brother, we don't give him money. We hope people don't give him money in some ways because we all know where it's going to go. And my dad gives him the money and he's like, God bless. Gets back in, he's like in the car with us and he goes, like talking to the cars around us. Okay, everybody, I already know what he's going to use the money on. It's just not my place to judge. And I'm like, wow, Dad, because myself, I've now when I see people and I'm just like, I'm not giving you money, dude. I don't want you to go shoot up. I don't want you to like to use the money on that. But I'm what if the opportunity comes where they are going to go buy themselves a hamburger? I want someone to be able to eat. And watching my dad do that was a really good reminder of like, yeah, I should probably still not judge, even though sure we could speculate and I've lived it and I see it. I see my brother's stolen money of mine, stolen money of my parents and done, things like that to use for things that are not great. But yeah, like you said, it's just kind of that going back to like they're a human being. Sure, is it some of their bad choices? Yeah. But it's stemming from, we have no idea where it's coming from, where it's stemming from, how they grew up. For all we know, their parents could have been drug addicts and that's all they knew. I don't know. There's just like so many possibilities. And it was a good reminder for me to, again, okay, like not judge the outcome. I can do something nice for someone with the belief that they're going to do something better with it, or it's not my place to really judge it. Anyway, this was a good reminder.
Great reminder and a cool
Yeah.
story. And thanks for sharing all that because we got to be real. I feel like so much in life we tried to, I don't know, push some of that stuff down and but it's real,
Mm-hmm.
and it's impacting real people and real lives and real families. But I think we can really heal. We can figure it out. And, your story is a great example of how you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to move the discussion forward and I want to talk about you becoming a mother.
The best.
The
The best title ever.
Yeah, so cool. You got 3 kids.
Yes.
And that's why I think it's so rad that you're now playing at such a high level after having 3 kids because it's really hard to have kids.
It is very hard.
So tell us a little bit about what motherhood's like and what it's like in relation to being a pro athlete.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just barely. Like being a mother is the greatest title, and that sounds like super cheesy, but I never was the girl that I was not like my mom. Like my mom really just wanted to be a mom. Like that was like her goal, and I always thought I was going to be a mom, but I was never, oh, I can't wait to have my kids, and I knew I was gonna do it, but I wasn't that person. But now like flipping over and being a mom, I'm like, no wonder people say this because it's the greatest. Very hard and very difficult, but oh my gosh, it's amazing. I feel like people search their whole lives for purpose and meaning, and like your kids, boom, purpose and meaning. You just look them in the face every day and you see purpose and meaning, even when you're gonna lose your mind, whatever is going on, mom. But so it's been awesome being a mom. And I think going through labor for me, when you're forced into so much pain and and suffering and you come out of it, you realize like, I felt like I can do anything. And I think that's really where it stemmed. Like, oh my gosh, I went through that. Oh, I can do anything I want to do. I was forced into this like torturous experience and I've came out of it 3 times. Like, oh my gosh, my body's amazing. I can like I said, I can do whatever I want to do. So it taught me a lot in like the process of being pregnant. I did not have great pregnancies. Like I was really sick and yada, yada, yada. Lots of people have way worse experiences than me, but I did not enjoy being pregnant. Like I said, labor taught me a lot about what the body can go through. So I think with the accumulation of that knowledge of like, wow, my body's pretty awesome. I can do some pretty hard things. And in college, again, I kind of made this promise to myself. I had gone injured one of my seasons and I was out for like 6 weeks. I was like the only injury I had, knock on wood.
That's
And
not wood.
I know something. And
There's a tree behind you.
a tree. And so like coming back into preseason after being injured and just chilling, it was awful to get back into shape. I was like, I'm never doing this again. If I can like have a choice, I'm never having to go down here and then climb the ladder again. I'm just going to do the work to maintain. And that was my mentality ever since then, was if I'm busting my butt to get into shape, I'm going to maintain. It's so much easier to maintain than have to go down and then climb the ladder back up. And it's so tough. So even with my pregnancies, I was like, I can still do a lot. I was like sprinting when I was 39 weeks pregnant, I think with my first kid, and I tried to do that a lot. So I was just terrified of losing like my fast twitch muscles. So I was still sprinting as much as I could to keep it. And so I think that kind of promise and that knowledge of like, I don't want to climb back out. I don't know if I'll like decide to do it. Also kind of kept me in this motivator to just like stay up on it. So now switching to being a professional athlete, like I said, I think my mind was expanded to my body's amazing. I can do amazing things because I went through all these, and my kids were just so back to back to back. So my body was just going through crazy. My mental space was like so bad. And coming out of it, man, I can still do some hard things. I can still do it. And I kept my sanity by staying in shape as much as I could. So as I'm a professional athlete, I had the opportunity, lucky enough, because I was like in shape. There wasn't really an excuse for me. Like, well, I'm just like in shape and I can't do it, because I was like, no, it's a decision at this point. It's a decision to just do it and commit to it and whatnot. So
It's such
yeah.
a badass attitude.
Oh, thanks.
And I didn't know that perspective that you held. All I knew is like I've been telling people this story for ages, that when I think it was your first pregnancy and we were playing soccer together
Mm-hmm.
in the, indoor soccer facility, co-ed, like rec.
Yeah.
But I don't know how pregnant you were. I think you were like 7 months pregnant or something. You're like third trimester.
Bro, I have no idea.
And you were on the field playing and like you have like a baby bump and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and you're dominating. Dominating. Like I remember this one game so specifically. We were playing a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, had the best record besides our own record, thanks to you.
Yeah. Oh.
But we're in this game, you're full on pregnant, you're sprinting, you're the fastest person on the field, and you're still scoring like, I think you scored like 5 goals in that game. And I stuck that in my mind because I was like, is that even possible? Should you be able to do that? And I was like, is she crazy? And I was like, well, maybe a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit for sure.
But it changed my perspective that like, I'm not a woman. I've never lived through pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone going through pregnancy is like, you rock.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I did not know the human body could do that.
Yeah, and neither did I.
So
That's
you blew
the
my
thing.
mind.
Yeah, going through it, it's just a crazy.
And then the other stories I remember is like occasionally I would pass you on the road in the early morning, or maybe sometimes afternoon, maybe just whenever you get the run in. But like at this point, you had one kid pushing the kid in the stroller, and I think you're pregnant with your second,
Sure.
and you were hauling, just
like
hauling down the road, kids. I could not believe how fast you were moving. I was like, wow, unbelievable. So that's really cool that was your perspective, and you're like, hey, my body can do anything. My body's amazing. So cool. Because I think, especially going back to trauma, I mean, what a journey with your body.
Totally.
To have lost your skill and feel like, oh, maybe your career's done or something, or to get to the point where you're kicking butt with babies and now you have 3 and now you're a professional athlete. So it's a great testament, because we got to have like mind, body, spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It's all, all related with our health, and you're kind of touching on all of them. So super cool, Kenz.
Thanks.
We've talked a lot about a lot of things, but I want to talk about Coach Kenz. Because,
yes.
You've been playing as an athlete, but you're also a coach, and you've coached for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us about being a coach.
Oh, I love that title as well. Being a coach, I've dedicated my life to, that's what my career has been. I worked at a sports performance lab where I coached, and we did, like sports training and teaching kids about mechanics. And I love I love that stuff. And then I own my own company right now doing coaching, training, soccer specific stuff, and also athletic stuff. And then I coach soccer, obviously, as well. I think being a coach and being able to, because I know sport has given me so much, and I don't know if you want to call it the fortune or the misfortunate experience of like what we've talked about, like the bigger picture perspective of what sport can do for you. Because what it's done for me is giving me an outlet for grief. It's giving me community. It's given me my best friends I've ever had in my life. So I know how much the sport has given to me, and so to be able to pass that on to players and I'm not perfect at this at all because I'm a very competitive person. So, but trying to coach in a way where can we look at the bigger perspective of what this is going to do and teach you? And I don't even care if you're not even going to play out of high school, you're not going to play college. Man, the lessons you can learn in sport are insane. Like my favorite movie is Remember the Titans. And that's just like a perfect movie of just displaying what you can learn through sport and how amazing that is. So for me, I've tried to channel that perspective as much as I can, even though I'm teaching specific, running mechanics, soccer mechanics on like how to play better, where I'm coaching a team and we're trying to win. I want to win. Winning's fun, but I've really tried to bring in the helping girls gain like self-confidence because I know that's like a huge thing. Like girls can be so mean to girls. It's pretty it's crazy. And so like in that world of just having a piece of self-confidence for yourself, like even if it's just starts on the soccer field where you're like, I'm good at something. I like to do this. I have some friends around me. That's where it stems from. And then it can blossom into other aspects of your life. That's amazing. That's what I would want to hope for as a coach. So I feel like that's my underlying hope as I continue to coach is give a broader perspective on what sport can do. It is sure it's about the game and sure it's about you succeeding as a player, but kind of also taking the perspective of like you never know what things are going to happen to you when you do lose your skill. Then what? Is your life over because now you don't have your skill? Like not even close. It can teach you still so much. So anyway, I feel like as it's kind of such like a deep, not like really anything to do with tactics or technical pieces, but that I know that's like I mentioned Natty before. She was like a great perspective coach like that for me. And that's all I could like hope and dream for my influence as a coach on the girls that I touch. And also it's weird because girls in some way I feel like are scared to compete. I don't know what I think I don't know if it's a self-confidence thing. But I do feel like in some ways I'm an anomaly that I'm just like you said, I'm going 100%. I don't care what you have to say. And people will say things to me sometimes like, Ken's like, can you just like, why am I just gonna like, ha, ha, ha. I don't want to do that. I want to go like, I want to go hard. That's like fun for me. I don't know if it's people feel stupid and I get that. And it's not like I haven't been insecure. Last summer, I felt so insecure being in the position I was playing for the team I was. I was the oldest, had 3 kids. Nobody was even like thinking about children. I've been insecure for sure, but I don't know, being a coach, I've really wanted to kind of give back in that way that soccer in particular has like taught me. I want to pass that along. 'Cause like we said, sports are so amazing. They can teach you some amazing lessons in life. So yeah, anyway.
It's awesome. I love how your life has kind of come full circle,
Yeah.
from being that kid, having a tough time, needing a good coach, and now being in a position where you're back helping girls
Mhm.
develop themselves in a cool way.
Yeah.
And I talk about this concept a lot on the channel. It's the idea of the wounded healer.
Hmm.
People who've had wounds are the best people to be healers.
Hmm.
And sometimes that's literal. Like I interviewed a guy who's a doctor, and he's like very literally,
Right. Healing people.
healing people. But even like as a soccer coach, you're doing it. You're a wounded healer. Like
Mhm.
you're helping the girls with whatever it is they're going through because you walked the path.
Right.
I had a guy on the podcast and he was talking about how when you've walked through the desert, now you know how to guide people because like it's not a theoretical thing for you, but it's literal and lived, and so you get to do it. And
Right.
it's cool. You've played at such a high level, so you know how to like coach girls, legitimately, like, here's how you actually win a game. Here's how you hit the game-winning shot. Here's how you make the right pass and the tactics and the movement on the field. But I love that for you, that's kind of a secondary thing. And the first thing is like developing them as girls and people. And I think that's so wonderful. And I want to touch on one other thing you said about how it's difficult to get girls to be, you said, competitive.
Yes.
And what that means. I'm a father of 2 girls. Do you have girls? You have all boys?
I have one girl.
Is your youngest?
She's my middle.
Oh, your middle.
Yeah.
Oh.
Layla
Layla,
girl.
that's right.
Lele.
Anyway. And like I feel like I'm learning as a father of 2 girls, very girly girls.
My girl is very girly as well.
Just so like
where'd she come from?
Yeah. Anyway, but what advice do you have for like someone raising girls to help them be more confident and more competitive and all those skills that I think are, girls don't always get the chance to learn? What's your advice?
That's a great question. What would my advice be to my daughter? I've always wondered that about myself. I feel like I've always been I've always had a sense of who I am, and I feel like that's been a true gift that's been given to me. We kind of spoke before too, like you feel like you have like a certain calling to do something. I've also felt and I don't know if that's I don't know if people do feel that way and they just suppress it or what. But I do feel like I've had this inner like sense of like I kind of understand like who I am. Not that I have not been like I have been in places where I'm very not confident person or been insecure. I've done all that for sure. But it's so hard, and I say this a lot when I'm coaching. I'm like, we got to get out of the who everyone cares more about themselves than they do about you. It's like the truth. Like everyone believes the world revolves around them in a lot of ways. And like maybe they're just like, oh, that girl looks like stupid. Maybe they say that to you for a second, but then they're immediately thinking about themselves like, oh, I hope and then their mind spinning about them. So I think it's kind of getting yourself to recognize like people don't care as much as you think that they do, which is I think one of the hardest things to recognize. Especially I feel like girls that are younger, like in middle school and high school, you think that everybody cares so much about what you're doing, and they so that's a hard thing to I think understand. I also think sports, and for me it was sports, but doing something that you're good at and like continuing in that automatically breeds confidence. Like if I'm doing something, I don't care if I'm really good at speaking to people, or like my youngest brother is an amazing artist at doing just art, spending time doing that, because then automatically like, yeah, I'm good at this. I'm good at something. And for me, it was athletics. For my sister, she was a dancer and an amazing cheerleader. That was her thing. She was like really great at. So I think finding what you're good at and having the time to spend time in that thing to breed that confidence in you. And like I said, the hope is that it blossoms over and starts to like vine over to other aspects in your life that don't have anything to do with sport, but to have that foundation layer of doing something I'm good at, and give like for me as like a mom, giving my kids the chance. Actually, Jake Westbrook, I don't know, in part of his podcast, he talked about, what did he call it? The something of exposure.
Oh yeah, rapid exposure.
Yes, rapid exposure.
Great,
And
that
I'm
was
like,
a great idea.
Yes. I'm like, and I've always thought about that, but I'm like, what a great term to put it all together.
Maybe we should trademark it.
Yes, so you should. But that's the exact thing I'm talking about, is he's giving his kids the chance to find what they're good at and giving them all sorts of ways. And I know financially people maybe I can't put my kids in 7 different sports. Yeah, I put them in different seasons, give them a notebook to start coloring, whatever it may be, in the simplest ways. as a mom, that's all I can hope is, can I give my kid the chance to find something that they're good at to then hopefully breed confidence and go from there? I don't know. That's it's a hard question, and I feel like it has so many layers to it, but that would be, my mind obviously switches over to sport first because that's where I found like my confidence is being in athletics and happening to be good at it genetically, whatever, I was gifted that way. So I don't know. That would probably be my first advice, but I think there's to that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you circle back. Because I'd asked the question, maybe it's too narrow about how do you help girls develop confidence? But what you said is really just like, how do you help anybody develop confidence?
True.
And
Yeah.
maybe it's dumb to
Gender.
even draw a distinction. Like, yeah, and I love how you said that confidence comes from knowing that you're good at some things. And I love that metaphor about it grows and blossoms, and then you said, the vines kind of spill over into other aspects of your life.
Right.
But that's awesome. Yeah, it's such an amazing thing to say. You can build the base of confidence doing what you know that you're good at. And so you're like, oh, I can do anything.
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
at least within reason. But
Yeah. But you have at least like
so
a
cool.
fallback. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think girls, I don't know if I was saying it when we were talking now or a little bit before, but like girls can just be so mean to each other. And I think it stems from an insecurity thing. I think that's why sometimes I'm on the soccer field and I'm being like, I start to like get mean or like rude. Like I know it's stemming from insecurity. Like I'm getting something threatened. So then I start to like start to talk, or I don't know why that's like such a thing for girls. I don't know if it's like a hormonal thing. Like our hormones are changing so much that we don't, I don't know. I have no idea where it comes from. But I kind of, it comes from this. I was just talking to this mom, and I've, for the longest time, what is the difference between girls and boys? And I'm in the world of soccer. For example, I just coached this game this morning. These boys were so dope on the ball. And then I have an all girls team that plays against in the boys' league. Our girls are great. These boys were kicking our butts just because they were willing to get on the ball and then start faking, start doing moves. My girls, it's like a touch and then, okay, and then I'm going to do a move. It's just the willingness for them to just like fail and mess up and try is, I don't know why that's like a boy thing. I don't know if it's a expectation thing. I don't know if it's naturally men think that way. They're not as risk adverse. Like they're fine. Is that the right term? Like they're fine, like taking risk and losing, and girls aren't naturally that way. I don't know if societal ways. I don't know. I don't know where it stems from, but I've recognized that recently of we got to be okay messing up and taking risks and looking stupid. And for some reason, especially in women's sport and girls and development wise, I don't know if it's an expectation thing, but like the boys we're playing against are not bigger. They're not stronger than my girls yet. They're not faster than my girls yet. Really, it's just the decision for them to just fake and be okay doing things, trying things. It works out. It doesn't work out. And as a consistent layer of watching girls play, that like something is holding back. And I don't know where it stems from. That's why I'm so interested in as I'm coaching, I'm trying to get girls out of that. Just be okay. Someone in front of you, I don't care. Fake, do something. I don't, like I said, I don't know where it stems from, and I think that as a bigger picture thing also just like stems. We're like so hesitant. We're so risk adverse to be different, or I don't know. And I'm talking in generalities because there's obviously people that are amazing at it and girls who are amazing on the ball, just like boys do. And and my team will they'll kick some boys' butts. We'll win games for sure.
You've kicked a lot. You've kicked a lot of butts in your life.
I have,
including mine.
I've tried. So I don't know. Anyway, that's a little tangent, but
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it stems from. We'll figure it out one day.
Yeah, it's great, and I love that. That's even just something you're thinking about. That's a deep level of coaching. Is like, wow, why are my girls being more timid on the ball than they need to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's great, but it makes me think. I mean, we both love sports, and we're talking earlier about Michael Jordan, and I just always think about his quote. He said sometime that, I've missed more shots than most people have ever taken. It's
Mhm.
like, oh, there you go.
Right.
It just takes a lot of failure with
Right.
whatever you're doing to get good at something. And
Totally.
yeah, I talk on the pod, like I'm trying to overcome my own perfectionism, like even at this point in my life.
Right.
Like, oh, it's okay if I take a shot and miss. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Keep shooting.
Yeah.
Keep taking a shot. If I put out a post, everything's like sports analogy for me too. I put out a post that's like, oh, that post didn't hit, or like that post didn't go how I thought it would go. It's like,
Yeah.
you just post another one.
Yeah.
Just keep
Just
going,
do
keep
it
grinding. And
again.
like, and you just do it till you're good at it. And
Mhm.
yeah, so that's great perspective. Um, another topic I want to talk with you about is what you and your husband have been working on. Because we recently lost our friend Jacob Villasenor,
Mhm.
who we love, and we both played a lot of soccer with him, and very very tragic death by suicide, and I relate to that because lost a lot of people that way. That's, I think, one of the big things we're trying to heal and work through. So maybe you can tell us just a little bit about what you guys are doing with check on your happy friends and some of that story.
Yeah. I think this shout out to my husband because it's his thing. I'm just supporting him as much as I can. But I think this is another great example of, I mean, truthfully, I was telling people after Jacob passed, because it was like a brother to my husband, either going to destroy Ovet, rightfully so, or it's going to make some type of impression for him to do something. And he decided, I'm going to do something positive. And that's where it's all stemmed from. And for those who don't know Jacob, I mean, talk about the definition of like a on the outside happy person. He's giggling every single time you see him. He's making fun of you in the most like warm-hearted way. I wish I could. There's this poem that this our mutual friend wrote about him, and it was, oh my gosh, it was perfectly said, and it just talks about always having, like, little inside jokes with people, so happy, always having fun. He was competitive, though, like, he would get upset, wants to compete, but just so truly a light to people and just, oh, the best. So, with the loss of Jacob, Ovett, who is my husband, man, this is such a problem. How can somebody that I would say is the happiest person that I know in my life could do something like this, or just be so alone and feel so alone and feel like no one's there. And we talk so much about people who are depressed, and you can see them and which they also need the same level of care and attention, but also kind of flipping the coin of, and I know Jacob has had to go through lots of trauma and his life was not easy in any way, shape, or form. So just the way that people express that pain is so different, and to realize everybody needs a checkup. I don't care how happy you think they are. Everybody needs some type of checkup and a space to communicate and talk about it. So that's kind of where it's all stemmed from. And so he's done some like merchandise. My favorite jacket that he has is "It's cool to care." I'm such a big believer, and even in the sports space. Like, yeah, it's cool to care about things. It's cool to care, to want to compete, to care about winning a game and then losing it, and then, yeah, is it make it maybe hurt worse? Sure. It's worth it. It's so worth it. That's, like, a huge thing for me. So it's the basis of everybody needs a checkup. I don't care what you look like on the outside, because Jacob, again, was the perfect example of, like, you would never think that. So, and I've been so proud of Ovett for taking his grief and molding it to something beautiful for a bigger purpose, and using it to help with education and to help Jacob's family. And so yeah, it's been so cool to like watch him and just such a loss be like translated into such a positive thing, because it could so easily not.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been so cool to watch it and to just I get a just little backseat to see all the behind the scenes and the things he's thinking about and impact. That's been really so cool
So
to
cool.
see. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love the word you said, translate or transmute, take that terrible loss and what happened. And he's able so quickly, I would say,
Yeah.
to turn it into something great.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like, maybe he started that company like almost like a month after losing Jacob or 2 months. I don't know, fast.
It was very fast. Yeah.
Not too fast, just like the right speed.
Right.
For him to get up and going. And I think that's a testament to Ovett and his own depth and his own character and, how he holds things together in his own kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
So really cool. And we'll put the link to check on your happy friends in the show notes.
Yeah.
So people can check it out and,
it's cool.
at least support it. I think that those types of resources are really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great message. And I think people can resonate with it. So please go check it out, people who are listening.
Yeah. Go check it out. It's cool.
That's great. Well, maybe kind of the last thing I want to talk about is now that you are in this cool career playing pro soccer, what are like the challenges of playing at this level and how are you continuing to grow and develop now that you're doing what you're doing?
Yeah. I mean, the challenges for me personally, and shout out to Ovett, my husband, I would not be able to do it if I didn't have someone supporting me doing it, right? Because just I have to go to practice in the morning. Someone has to be with my kids, stuff like that. So that's a challenge. I think overcoming mom guilt in some ways of, should I be really playing though? Like, am I taking too much time away from my kids? And that always, I feel like that question can always be like, you always feel some type of guilt. And I don't know if I'm just justifying it, but I'm like, I feel like I'm setting an example to my kids of like we talked at the beginning. I still have some things left in me. And I want to show to you guys, like, use your body for what you can't, like what you want to, spend your time doing what you want to in reason, right? Like I have other responsibilities, making the money and provide and my kids, right? But I think that example of, yeah, do what you want to do. There's no limit. Don't limit yourself just because, oh, I'm a mom, so then I have to limit myself to whatever you think I should be doing, what I should be doing at 31, whatever. So, but mentally, I do feel like that's a challenge. Sometimes it's like, do I have, like, is this what I should be doing?
Well, mom guilt's a super real thing.
Yeah, it is. And I think I've decided to, I'm like, okay, I've made a decision. I just got to stop going back on the decision. You just got to dive in. Dive in if you're going to make the decision. Don't just stick your toe in and go halfway. So that is a thing that creeps up. But like I said, I've really tried to just make the decision to go and just live it up while I can. So, I mean, challenges that way, I think. What are some other challenges that have been, it's hard because I worked so freaking hard to get here. And so I think almost the challenges came for this point, like the process of me, oh my gosh, do I spend the money to fly out to go to a combine? Oh my gosh, do I spend the money? I got asked to come back to a trial for a professional team. Do I spend the week not doing my business, making no money, and do I go spend the time trying to do what I have no idea what's going to happen? And so that process, I feel like, was a little bit harder in those decisions and just having to have like faith in myself that, oh, I'm going to try. Got to do it. So now it's almost like it's came to fruition. Like, oh, cool, I'm here. I'm like doing what I've always wanted to do. Not that it's like easy peasy, but I think the process was to get here, and it's been years. It was a little bit harder than it is maybe now managing it now, just because I've had my eyes set here for so long. So
that's awesome.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess didn't really answer your question. I don't really have an answer to that, but
no, it's great
process. For me.
Yeah, great what you said. Yeah, I love what you said. Fruition.
Mm-hmm.
You're working, you're planting, you're digging, you're watering, and it's tough.
Right.
I mean, I see you working hard because I saw you sprinting down the street with a stroller and being pregnant. And I know you put the work in, and it's cool to see it paying off for you, and really pretty incredible stuff.
Thanks. Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to go back on was you were talking about this idea, like, the mom guilt and,
Mhm.
oh, should I be doing this? I don't really know. We talked about the idea of calling earlier,
Mhm.
and like, this is a calling for you. If you were not doing this, if you were not playing soccer, like, you wouldn't feel even like yourself, right?
Right.
If you weren't pushing yourself to this, it's something that like moves you and you have to do it.
Mhm.
And whenever I talk with people, I'm always trying to get people to like lock in and identify on that exact type of feeling because I think everybody has it for something.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's even like beyond us. It's something that is God given
Mhm.
and is a pure expression of your soul and what you do.
Mhm.
Um, so I think, you're trying to set the example for your kids to do this, whatever they want to do in life and be able to go do it and attack it.
Mhm.
I'm like, what a great lesson. You're like, I'm being authentically me, doing my calling, what I know I need to do. And how can they not respect that as they grow up? My mom always represented it, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
And I think, at least in our own family, we have conversations like this too all the time is like, well, should I just be working a normal job? Should I be doing this podcast thing? And like, my wife's doing acting and, but they become bigger decisions as you get older, which is
Right.
why I think it's so cool to talk to you, here in your 30s and after 3 kids and knowing you're hitting it because I think it's a lot easier to get discouraged or think, oh, that's past me
Right.
now that you've hit it. The other thing that I talk about that you mentioned is that when we do have our calling like this and we've kind of figured it out,
Mhm.
you have to go all in on it.
Yeah.
That's what you just said. You have to
The
dive
dive.
in. Like there's
Yeah.
no other choice.
Right.
You have to do it and you have to do it with your whole heart. And then I found that when you do that, it's like a universal law that things have to kind of work out.
Right. Karma's gonna come back to me in a
Yeah,
good way.
you just have to, you know?
Yeah.
I've never met anybody who went all in on exactly what they felt like they were aligned and called to do where it didn't work out.
Right.
Just like a fact.
Right.
So I love that
Yeah.
you're proving that in real time.
Right. And I've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently, and that concept that you're talking about, which it's not that it doesn't come without sacrifice, right? Like do I make lots and lots of money? No, I don't. I'm not like living my best life that way. And so some people are like, well, I'm going to do a normal job because I'm going to spend the money doing the things that I want to outside of work, which is totally fine. It's
Mhm.
just preference, priority difference. But that going all in on something, despite like recognizing, okay, I am sacrificing XYZ, but that purpose and meaning that you get from just diving all in is so much. And this is something I have to remind myself of, is this is way more meaningful and is going to be way more fulfilling than a dollar amount in my bank account. Even though that is so stressful for me, I'm like such a money worrier. I, for me, it's like, I gotta just believe in that like inner soul, what I'm meant to do type of thing, what I want to do, what my passion is. And I've just lived like 10 years now in that same type of belief, and it's worked out. And I'm fine. I'm fine. Like I'm living. I'm not homeless. I have a great family. It's just like worked itself out. Not that I don't stress about things, and not that everything's perfect, and not that I'm not sacrificing things. For sure I am. I'm not doing everything great, but I do really believe that it's like just trust in that underlying, and it's gonna look maybe different. Like I said, did I think that my professional career would come from playing indoor soccer? No. Would I prefer maybe to play outdoor? Yeah, probably. But you just don't know. The opportunities still are so amazing here. So yeah, all the things I really agree with the whole like, diving in thing. Yeah, it just funny how it just kind of works out.
Yeah.
Not without sacrifices, but works out. And it's so fulfilling. I think that's such an underrated thing, to be fulfilled and to have purpose. It's like, well, if you feel that to the core, man, there's like nothing else you want in life. Truly, once you feel it, in my opinion. So I don't know.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think it's true because in we talk about like you're a soccer coach, and I've coached people like more in life. I think life coach is a silly term, but like kind of what it does sometimes. But I've worked with people, and I say this all the time, who are making, huge companies, and they're making almost like $1 billion in revenues. And like, people are like, actually, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't actually want to do this.
Right.
Like, I was just doing it because I wanted to be validated or something. It's like, whoa, and people like, and this is truthful. They would trade their $1 billion thing to just like play the piano. Weird,
Yeah. Crazy. Crazy to think.
and people who are in that state are so de-energized, like just bummed because they're not living authentically. But then, someone like you doing what you love, maybe you're not making $1 billion,
Right. Not even close.
but you have so much vitality. Like you're full of life, you're full of passion, and you're like a battery. And what's fun about it is like when you meet people who are really authentically living their lives, being their best selves, the energy is contagious. We're in the room together, and it's like, I can almost like feel your energy. Like, it's like an aura that's around you, and it encourages other people to do it too. So I know your kids feel it. I know, all the girls you coach feel it. The girls on your team, the fans are going to feel it. People feel it through the podcast. So it's truly Ken's great example of a life well lived.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I respect you.
Thanks. Thanks. All love.
Happy to be your friend.